Good afternoon. This is the iVend Retail webinar in association with the BRC and Retail Connections. Good afternoon. My name is Chris Field. Welcome everyone. Hope everyone is well and thank you for joining our webinar. As I say, my name is Chris Field. I am a retail analyst and I'm also chairman of a retail network called Retail Connections. And I'm joined by Tim Barton, who is Director of Product Marketing at iVend Retail, and it has 30 years experience in retail in fast fashion, grocery, health and beauty, and specialty retail. Welcome, Tim.
Thanks, Chris.
Today's webinar is going to look at how a single view of the customer and, critically, a single view of stock has become absolutely key to driving higher sales in store. Now, I hope that throughout this webinar you'll send your questions to us and we'll try to get to some of them at the end. And of course you can always email us if we're not able to. You know as well as I do that retail used to be all about the store. Well, today it's all about the customer. And if you read the press, you'll know that it's full of stories about this. So what we're not going to do is we're not going to take you through what you already know, but what we will do is provide you with practical advice on the systems and processes that enable you to serve the customer better and more profitably in store, and support this insight with some new research that iVend has undertaken recently. To be successful in store, in retail, you need to be able to see the store through the eyes of the customer. Who are they and what do they want? And let me say, don't underestimate this challenge. We know that you have lots of data, but you still can't see an individual customer when they come into the store. Now, I was recently in the US at the NRF, the big show, and I can tell you that the challenges are the same everywhere. And they are specifically, how come retailers trading online know their customers the instant they connect and can serve them across the entire journey appropriate to their buying history and preferences, while in store the customer can travel almost invisibly through the store, often leaving without buying anything and then leaving the retailer absolutely no clue as to what happened. Which would be fine, except that in an increasingly competitive environment where some sectors are clearly oversupplied, with new channels taking more and more share of sales, retailers now have to think about a complex set of variables. So it's about store numbers, locations, formats, design, and the interactions between them, all from the point of view of the customer. And put everything together in a way that enables retailers to delight the customer in store, but also to sell to them. I'm going to ask Tim now to tell us what these customers actually want from the store using original research.
Thanks very much, Chris, and yes, welcome everybody. iVend Retail surveyed consumers in 5 European regions and 2 North American markets. Now, I'll touch on some of the North American trends today, but predominantly we're going to focus on Europe in this webinar. What became evidently clear from our research is that in the store, Omnichannel is actually more of an omni-illusion. Most retailers aren't connecting bricks and mortar sufficiently to their digital experiences. The consumers we surveyed highlighted 4 key omnichannel challenges that the store faces. First of all, there's the perception of bricks and mortar versus online shopping. In many ways, the store just seems so outdated compared to the rich information and instant availability of e-commerce. And then there's loyalty. Shoppers' total value to a retailer just isn't being recognized. Their interactions and subsequent rewards in the store feel completely separated to any rewards they may get online. Then there's fulfillment. There's a growing appetite for cross-channel services like click and collect, but retailers aren't always optimizing the customer experience when they come to collect their goods in store. Finally, there's personalization. Retailers just aren't delivering the same level of customization offline as they are online. So let's discuss these in greater detail. So half the European customers we surveyed and almost 3/4 of North American consumers find e-commerce far more important or far more convenient than bricks and mortar. Now, this isn't necessarily surprising. Obviously, picking up your phone or opening your laptop is always going to be easier than getting in your car, making a journey, trying to find somewhere to park, and then getting into a store. However, for 1 in 4 shoppers, the convenience of online shopping is making the store feel like a letdown. Why is this? Well, because they've come to expect the endless aisle capability and continual availability of e-commerce. They want access to that rich content to support their buying decision. And they want to be guided through the process to a seamless, easy, simple purchase. And yet less than half of consumers feel retailers are able to give them equally fulfilling experiences in-store versus the experience online. Now, a lot of this disappointment with the store experience comes down to the fact that retailers find it much easier to personalize digital encounters than physical ones. 1 in 5 of the shoppers we surveyed would like the store to give them the same personalization that they receive online. Clearly, at present, online loyalty has been more successful in tailoring loyalty incentives to the needs and desires of individual shoppers. Yet when that same shopper goes to the store, most of the time they're presented with a generic paper voucher printed out post-purchase for use on a future visit. When in fact, what they want is something relevant and immediate, a scheme that recognises how important they are as a customer of the brand, even if they don't come into the store that often. They want those relevant offers to be delivered instantaneously. One of the major trends that came out of our survey was the appetite for mobile loyalty. Incentives delivered to the device that consumers rely on most every day in everyday life and carry with them almost everywhere. One of the other interesting trends revealed through our research was how cross-channel services like Click and Collect is changing relationships between the store and e-commerce. It'll probably come as no surprise that the UK has the most mature Click and Collect market with almost 80% penetration. This is in huge contrast to markets like Germany, where less than 1/3 have used the service. And what this does is really highlight the varying educational journeys retailers must embark on to get shoppers to embrace cross-channel interaction, particularly for retailers with an international footprint. The nuances between regions are fundamental to success. A one-size-fits-all approach to customer engagement just doesn't work. And even for those retailers that have a good uptake on Click and Collect, there is still much work to be done. Our study discovered that more than 1/4 of North American consumers and 1 in 5 European consumers think more can be done to optimize the pickup process in store. There's just absolutely no point in offering a service that ultimately results in disappointment. Okay, so with all this research taken into consideration, what does the modern shopper actually want from a store? It's very clear that they want the ability to make the store serve their own purpose. It has to be convenient and satisfying on a personal level. They want consistency with their experiences online. Inconsistent offers or lack of availability can negatively impact shopper behaviour at the point they're ready to buy. And they want customer service that is personal to their preferences. Ultimately, they just want to feel special. And they want their cumulative value to a brand to be recognised with loyalty benefits that actually mean something, which also very much ties into the idea of them being special. They want to be viewed on their total value to a brand, not just their recognition in that particular channel. And they want to be rewarded in a way that makes their life that little bit easier. Now, this is something that David Roth, WPP's chief executive of the store, discussed at NRF earlier this year, highlighting that loyalty is no longer just about price. It's a combination of budget, time, and health. And finally, customers want and demand delivery promise. The customer wants what they want, when and where they want it, which is simple enough to say and much, much harder to deliver.
Thanks, Tim. So that's what the customer wants, simple. But how can retailers meet these expectations? Now, over the last few years, there's been a huge investment in technology at the front end of the retail stores. How can we make the store inspirational to give shoppers the wow factor and encourage their engagement? However, this is not going to surprise and delight the customer if they can't get the item they want, when they want it, where they want it. In a way, it's a simple, straightforward delivery on promise, yet it's something that most retailers aren't paying enough attention to. The main reason for this, we feel, is that retailers don't, firstly, have a 360-degree view of customer activity, and secondly, a complete view of their stock in order to match supply to demand in all channels. Now, if retailers had this to hand, they would run stores very differently to the way they are run today. For example, many retailers are spending thousands of pounds on marketing to drive customers into stores, but then don't have the stock they're promoting on sale at that moment in time. So a single customer and stock view enables retail stores to sell more stuff, keep customers happier, reduce wastage, and therefore make money. Sounds great, doesn't it?
Yes, that sounds absolutely fantastic, Chris. And I think it's safe to say that a single view of the customer and that single view of stock is, retail utopia. But the real question is, of course, how on earth do we get there? So I'm going to talk through this journey now and outline some of the key benefits of this holistic omnichannel approach to retail and retail operations. So one thing that our research made very clear was that although consumers don't know the word omnichannel, they are very, very familiar with the concept and they want it. 2/3 of North American shoppers and more than half of European shoppers want retailers to have a single view of them, however and wherever they choose to shop with them. But what this means is that retailers need an understanding of their behaviour beyond that final transaction, being able to understand every interaction leading up to the purchase and then sequence them to create that full picture of how consumers move across all sales channels. And as I'll explain in a bit more detail in a moment, data is pivotal to this understanding. The more you know about each individual customer and how they behave, the greater your capability to personalise that experience and reward their loyalty in a way that makes them feel truly special and valued. So again, data is the bedrock of personalising that store experience. The growing usage of store technology, such as mobile point of sale, digitalised loyalty schemes, mobile passbooks, all of these things are enabling retailers to document and analyse more of what is actually happening in the store. In addition, these technologies are enabling sales associates to draw on customer data across all channels to customise the bricks and mortar interaction based on a shopper's true past activity. And this single view of customer behaviour, wherever they're interacting with you, has benefits way beyond increasing conversion. A positive store experience will increase customer advocacy for your brand, raising retention rates and helping to grow their lifetime value. So, as I just mentioned, technology is the window into how shoppers behave in the store in the context of their wider brand relationship. So retailers need to be investing in solutions that upskill their staff to provide the informative, intuitive service that shoppers are used to getting online. They need to provide frontline personnel with back-end connectivity to draw on product information, real-time availability of stock, previous purchases, and customer loyalty data to enrich the bricks and mortar experience. And investing in mobile technology to achieve this will create the capability to model omni-channel store experiences around the customer and not the other way around. One thing I touched on in the previous section was the ability to look up stock availability in real time. Now this is a major challenge for many retailers. As the number of channels through which retailers operate has grown, it's become increasingly more difficult to gain complete sight of what inventory is available at any point in time, let alone optimize allocation and replenishment. As we stand today, most retailers operate a first-come, first-served approach to inventory management. However, a fear of demand outstripping supply in any one channel has led to a real proliferation of overstocking. Typically, a massive 60% of stock in retailers today is safety stock, there only to account for unforecasted demand. Research shows us that moving to a single stock pool can reduce this overstocking by up to 20%. That means that if the typical carrying cost of inventory ranges from 13 to 15% of the cost value of the inventory, this saving would equate to between 2.6 and 4% positive impact on the profit and loss account. And in addition, the complete transparency that a single stock pool provides will improve sell-through, result in lower markdowns, and ensure maximum product availability and consistent customer service however and wherever that customer chooses to shop. And the benefits of a single stock pool are widespread throughout the business. In merchandising, it enables unified planning, and therefore retailers can choose the model that works best for their business, top down, bottom up, or middle out. And to maximize omnichannel success, we'd recommend top down or middle out. So once sales have been planned by hierarchy, retailers can then plan margin in the same way. Now this is ideal for businesses that have a wholesale operation alongside retail, or which operates outlet stores. And this approach can also support pricing flexibility. For instance, introducing permanent markdowns earlier in store locations where stock sell-through has been disappointing. Merchandise planning benefits also feed directly into inventory planning. With domestic markets, the least amount possible can be allocated to stores for initial injections and then deployed where it's selling best. And this not only maximises sell-through, but it also reduces unnecessary shipping costs incurred by moving stock not selling well in one location to another where demand has outstripped supply. Being able to more accurately plan and manage inventory enables retailers to become more agile in where stock is allocated based on that demand. And this ensures that as much stock is consumed in the better margin channels as possible. Single stock view is particularly effective when combined with a single customer view, because it allows retailers to analyse shopper activity and more accurately forecast demand. Historic sales is central to not losing sales opportunities, and this should be plotted using a price elasticity curve as shown here. So the line joins all the points where unit volume, U, multiplied by price, P, is equal. Moving the price point to the left or to the right can predict sales on the unit volume axis and therefore calculate the likely change in sales value. The comprehensive sales and price history is very important here to build up a meaningful model, and ideally you need this data at a daily level.
Thanks, Tim. Let me now be the one to repeat, and I think it does bear repeating. If there's one thing that's guaranteed to annoy customers, it's seeing a promotion online or on the television and then going into their local store to find the item that is on offer is out of stock. So a single stock view enables retailers to more accurately manage supply and demand in promotional scenarios. Now this includes the reabsorption and reallocation of return stock into your systems. And don't underestimate the size of this. It's reckoned by a company called Clear Returns that £600 million worth of unwanted purchases were returned after Black Friday in the UK alone last year. So having complete channel visibility enables retailers to make savvier decisions about stock. Should it be transferred to another location? At what point should it be marked down? Will this product have greater longevity online than it will in the store? On the subject of profitability, single stock view also empowers retailers to make more effective fulfillment decisions. Real-time data means products can be dispatched from the most profitable location, or in circumstances where lack of availability in the cheapest channel may result in a lost sale, the item can be shipped from store to keep a high-value customer happy. This also helps to balance availability for click and collect versus store customers to ensure demand from one is not detrimental to the experience of the other. And just to round this section off, we've talked about the benefits of a single customer view and single stock view, but what does this actually look like in the omni-channel store? Here you can see iVend Retail's vision for what the omni-channel store looks like and how it behaves. Of course, there's lots of exciting technology that drives consumer interactions, but more importantly, helps retailers to deliver a better standard of customer service. This is a store in which every shopper feels not only known to the retailer, but personally valued because the experience is tailored to their need. A store in which the retailer doesn't just surprise and delight shoppers, they follow through on their promise to them.
Okay, so where do we start in order to achieve that ultimate omnichannel store? On this slide you'll see our 5 progress points to align your journey to over the next 12 months. First of all, you've got to get the foundational technology right. So you need an ERP system that can cope with not only the omni-channel demands being asked of it today, but the unknown demands of tomorrow. So you need flexibility. Then use that platform to get a real-time data view of stock visibility and availability across all of your business channels. From there, you can begin to make more effective decisions about the way you plan, the way you merchandise, the way you allocate and replenish your stores. And the data this generates will enable you then to forecast demand more accurately, which will drive greater full price sell-through. And with this in place, you can reduce that safety net of stock that we talked about earlier, reducing total stock holding, reducing costs, and reducing loss margin.
Thanks, Tim. One final thing I want to mention before we open the floor to questions is the absolute fundamental importance of having the right technology in boosting store profits. We've discussed how technology must go beyond engaging consumers by bridging the digital-physical divide and enable retailers to provide more effective, fulfilling services in all channels. What I want to reiterate is Tim's point about finding omni-channel solutions that can scale and grow with your business well into the future. whatever direction that may be. Now, achieving this is only partly about finding the right technology. It's also clearly about finding a partner who understands the agility your business requires. They need to support and advise you beyond implementation to keep driving return on your investment and to evolve your solution as your business needs change. That concludes our insights. I want to make you aware, as you can see on the screen now, there are further resources available, significant resources, because iVend in particular has a number of former retailers working for it. So there's some great resources there through the resource hub. A couple of questions have come in. One listener has asked us about the value of iBeacons and other technologies that detect customer presence. And I'd like to answer that by saying that anything that gives retailers insight into how the customer is behaving in store has a role to play, but not before you have that single view of both customer and product. Start there, then you can determine the business case for all the innovations coming your way, because there's nothing worse than a technology that creates expectations with the consumer that can't be satisfied. One more question, which I'm going to ask Tim to answer. A listener is asking, when is the right time to embark on an omnichannel strategy, and should a business wait for an ERP replacement project to begin?
Great question, thank you, Chris. And the very simple one-word answer is no. Whatever you do, don't wait. Retailers should already be thinking and behaving and structuring themselves in an omnichannel way. They need to think omnichannel in the same way that customers do. Customers see no distinction between channels. They just call it shopping. As we said earlier, they don't recognize that word omnichannel. The retail industry uses it, retailers know about it, retail vendors know about it, but customers, they just see it as great service when it works or poor service when it doesn't. And the reality is that ERP systems are changed very infrequently. It's a big deal for a retailer to change a core system like that. So it may be many years before your next ERP project is the reality. So regardless of whether you can deliver all of the elements of a fully omnichannel, joined up customer experience, there will be some things that your business can do today, some areas that you can address that will improve customer experience. And at the end of the day, that is what this is all about. Deliver a great, compelling, memorable experience, and customers are more likely to come back. It's as simple as that. And the more satisfying and the more fulfilling and the more personal that you can make it, the greater the chance is that they will. And not only that, they'll tell their network, they'll tell their friends, they'll tell their family, they'll tweet about it, they'll post it on Facebook. So my advice to anybody who is either thinking of embarking on this journey or aspires to be an omnichannel retailer is look for marginal gains initially across the entire business. Look for them in all areas, not necessarily a seismic change to your entire operation, but at the end of the day, do something.
Tim, thank you so much for that, and I'd like to draw this webinar to a close by thanking you all for listening in. We will no doubt be in touch. Please do, if you have any burning questions, just fire them at us. The more challenging, the better, because if there's one thing we all know about retail today, it is extraordinarily competitive, and therefore the stores that you operate now are going to have to work a lot harder in order to generate profit and also to fulfill their place in an omnichannel world. Many thanks.